Right. All right, boys and girls, are we ready?
Yeah!
We're going to show our parents the resurrection story. Now, you should know it well. When you went to church this past Sunday, what day was that?
On Sunday,
And what happened on the very first Palm Sunday?
Jesus rode a donkey into the city of Jerusalem, and the people shouted, Hosanna! They were telling Jesus they believed he could save them. They were treating him like a king who would win a battle. And he did win. He saved us from a bad life. Now he is our Lord, so we can smile and laugh and sing. Hosanna, hallelujah. He saved me and I adore the Lord.
Monday goes by,
By Tuesday goes by,
Wednesday goes by. Holy Thursday arrives, Passover meal, the Last Supper. The very last time that Jesus ate with his 12,
disciples.
the very first Mass ever celebrated, where Jesus broke bread and said, "This is my
Body.
pours wine into this chalice and says,
This is my blood that will be shed for you.
Jesus continues to celebrate Mass with his 12.
Disciples.
And he looks around the table and he says, one of you here will...
Betrayal.
Who betrayed Jesus?
Judas.
And what did Judas receive?
30 silver pieces.
And what did Jesus tell Judas to do?
Go what you must do.
Go and do what you must do. And Judas fled. He went to Jesus' enemies. Then Jesus continued on with Mass. And a little bit later, he took Peter, James, and John. And where did he go?
To the garden of Gethsemane.
And what did Jesus do?
Pray.
And what did his disciples do?
Sleep.
Slept. Jesus goes back and he's praying and he's taking on all of our sins and he's full of anguish and sorrow and pain. Goes and checks on his 12
Disciples.
or his disciples, Peter, James, and John. And what are they still doing?
Sleeping.
What does Jesus say to them?
You can't even pray with me for 1 hour.
You can't keep watch for 1 hour. And Jesus looks up and he sees his betrayer. It's nighttime. They don't know where Jesus is at. And way back in those days, there was no electricity. So they had to hold torches. And a torch is like a campfire on a stick. And they're looking and they're trying to find their way to Jesus. And they find Jesus, but they don't know which one is Jesus because Peter, James, and John is standing there beside Jesus. What does Judas do?
Kiss him on the cheek.
The kiss of,
Betrayal.
as they start to take Jesus away. They're not being very nice. They're being mean. And Peter gets angry, pulls out his sword and does what?
Cut off his shoulder.
What does Jesus do?
Pick it up and put it back on.
And what happened?
Instantly.
Instantly healed. To the very end, Jesus is teaching his disciples. Just because someone's mean to us, someone does something unkind to us, are we to treat them the same way?
No.
One of our hardest lessons, what do you think Jesus would want us to do?
Way.
Pray for them to have a change of heart. As they take Jesus away, they take him to this mean judge. Who was this mean judge?
Pontius Pilate.
Ironically, Pontius Pilate didn't think Jesus was guilty of everything, but it was Passover. And his courtyard, his praetorium, was full of people. And he was a coward. He backed down. He didn't want a fight or a riot to break out. So he gave in. And it was customary during those days, during Passover, to release a prisoner. So who was that big bad guy that they released?
Barabbas.
So what did the crowd scream out?
We want Barabbas. We want Barabbas.
So they let Barabbas, that rebel, go. And then what did the crowd scream out?
Crucify Jesus. Crucify Jesus.
So they took Jesus, and what did they do to him?
Scourge.
Another name for scourge is
Whip.
they hurt him badly. What did they make Jesus?
Crown of thorns.
Not a crown of diamonds and jewels and rhinestones and gold, but a crown of thorns. They were mocking him and making fun of him, and they called him the King of
Jews.
What did they do with this crown?
Put it on his head.
What else did they make Jesus?
A cross.
A heavy cross. What did Jesus have to do with this cross?
Carry it all down the street.
That's right. He had to carry it all through town. As he's carrying this heavy cross, you have to remember that he's very, very weak from the scourging, and he drops that cross. And the soldiers get angry with him. And they see a man in the crowd, and what do they shout at him?
You there.
Who was that man?
Simon of Cyrene.
So Simon of Cyrene helps Jesus carry this heavy cross all the way through the streets up to a hill called
Golgotha.
Then what do they do to Jesus?
Nailed his hands and feet.
Is Jesus the only one being crucified that day?
No.
What does crucified mean?
Killed him on the cross.
There was one on his
Left and one on his right.
The one on his right was mocking him and making fun of him. And the one on the left looked at him and he goes, we deserve this punishment. And then he looks at Jesus and he asked for
Forgiveness.
And what did Jesus say? For
Today you will be in paradise with me.
what does paradise mean?
Heaven.
Jesus knew the heart of this man. Was this man sorry for his sins?
No.
And he knew the heart of this man. And did Jesus reward him with heaven?
Yes.
That's why, boys and girls, when you go to bed at night and you say your nighttime prayers and you think about your day, an examination of conscience. Did I have a good day? Did I have a bad day? Did I say something that was unkind? Did I do something unkind? And then you ask Jesus for
Forgiveness.
Will Jesus forgive you?
Yes.
Because he knows you have a good heart. As Jesus is hanging on the cross, what do the soldiers do?
Cast lots.
They roll the dice. They cast lots for his.
Tunic.
And why did they do that?
So it was sewn in one piece and didn't want to tear it.
This happened on Good Friday in the afternoon. About this time of the day. What happened to the skies when Jesus died? Then what else happened? What happened to the ground?
It shook like an earthquake.
The people scattered, they ran, they were frightened because they knew they did what?
Killed an innocent man.
Joseph of Arimathea, who loved Jesus, but in secret so he wouldn't get in trouble, went to that mean judge. What was that mean judge's name?
Pontius Pilate.
And asked for permission for Jesus' body. And on the way back ran into a friend. And who was that friend's name?
Nicodemus.
Nicodemus. So Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea, what did they do? Ever so gently take Jesus' body down from the cross and Jesus' mom, and what do we call her?
Blessed Virgin Mary.
Then what did they do to Jesus?
Wrapped him in linen.
They wrapped him in linen, laid him in a
Tomb.
and what did they roll in front of that tomb?
A stone.
And Jesus laid in that tomb on
Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and Easter morning.
On Easter morning, when the women went to the tomb to anoint Jesus' body, as it was customary to do back then, what was rolled away?
The stone.
What did they see?
Nothing but the cloth.
And what did they think?
Somebody stole Jesus' body.
What appeared?
An angel.
And what did the angel say?
Fear not, for Jesus is alive.